Hello and welcome to the Journey to a Dream podcast, which is brought to you by Kawasaki Insurance. This is where we talk to people who just love motorsport and specifically love motorsport here on the Isle of Man. Today's guest hasn't raced here on closed roads yet, but it is not long until he'll be sitting on that start line on Glencrutchery Road for the MGP 2025. Let's meet him now.
Hi, I'm Lee Stanaway, a privateer motorcycle road racer from Stafford in the Midlands, engineer surveyor, ex-army, and racing at Manx Grand Prix as a newcomer this year.
So Lee, we're talking to you just ahead of the MGP, which you're doing for the first time this August. How did that all come about, first of all?
So I never really knew about the Isle of Man or racing full stop. My friend brought me over, Paul, about 5-6 years ago and put me at the bottom of Bray Hill and said, "Hey, I'll watch this." It was a classic qualifying session and I've never seen anything like it. I stood at the side of the track and it sounds ridiculous, but I cried. I genuinely cried, and I went I'm now thinking about it because it's actually happening. We finally got there. And that was when I realised I fell in love with this place and the sport. I was already racing at the time, just local club level, still working my way through the licences. But that's when it first dawned on me that this is what I want, this is what I need to do.
So do you come from a biking family?
No, not at all, not at all. I first bought a motorbike when I was 17, much to my parents' disapproval. I mean, it was just a cheap and easy way to get about. I wasn't the most sensible rider for the time I was on the road, and my wife bought me a track day at Milo Park for my birthday as a surprise. So we went on this track day, and we were on an old Suzuki V-Strom 1000, all the panniers, all the boxes on it, the lot, and that's where the bankruptcy started. Went there, loved that, bought a track bike, and never looked back since. Did a couple of track days, started racing. And it just took over my life, to be honest with you. The only reason I go to work is I first pay the mortgage, but everything else just goes on racing.
And it's interesting, isn't it? It's how you balance real life and trying to do normal, in inverted commas, things alongside this hobby, which has become such a passion of yours. Were you in the army when this started, or was that a thing that started after that?
No, I was in the army at the time. It was they were quite helpful with it. So I was asking for time to go and race, and they'd give me time to prep the bike, and I could bring it into work, and they'd let me have it in like the hangar and working on it. So because when I was in the army, I was living in the block, as it were, so a single man room. I didn't have a garage or anywhere to work, so they really did help and go, okay, we can help them out and give them some space, and that was brilliant. But that's when it started. It was difficult because you never know where you're going to be when you're in the army, and we're on call, so you might say, "Oh, I want to go racing this weekend," and then Friday comes, and then all of a sudden you've got a call and you've got to go to work. So that was difficult. I did it for about 3 years while I was in the army, and then obviously I've left and found I had to leave because the work-life balance really wasn't there anymore. Especially being married, buying the house, getting a dog, you know, all that. I couldn't be away for 5 days a week.
So then you moved jobs, which presumably has given you a little bit more freedom and a little bit more certainty with regards to your hours.
Yeah, it did do. So I was an engineer surveyor for a couple of years, working in engineering insurance, to go out and checking and testing lifts and cranes and that sort of thing, making sure they're safe. I did that for 3-4 years, left that and set my own business up doing it. Been going now just over 2.5 years. One of the reasons I set my own business up was so I can have more time to race. That's it, just because it takes so much time up. I was at Scarborough the weekend, and it took 3 weeks to prep the bike, and then you've got to pack everything on Thursday. You get to the racetrack on Thursday night, so you've lost Thursday, you're losing Friday, you're racing Saturday, Sunday, you lose Monday for unpacking, and there's no employer that can really support that. So I had to set my own up and find workarounds. Now,
I just want to go back to something you said, that when you got a road bike at the age of 17, the parents weren't overly impressed with that. I'm curious to know what they're like about you racing.
No, they're happier that I'm racing, to be honest with you, because it's a controlled environment. You've got doctors, you've got medics, you know, everyone's trained and competent, everyone's going in the same direction, you haven't got a bus coming towards you. You know, it's a lot safer and it is a lot better. They're not quite sure why I spend all this money and time prepping a bike for a plastic trophy, but it's just what we do. It's not about the trophies. It's about being in the paddock and being part of something that's much bigger than yourself. A friend of mine said to me the other day, because we are stressed about getting this bike sorted for the Manx and getting over here and so many different moving parts. They said, "Lee, what you forget is it's normal people doing amazing things." And I don't see that. This is somebody else saying it to me. And that's the thing with the whole sport here. It's normal people, everyday people that you walk in the street you wouldn't look twice at, doing incredible things. I'm not talking about myself, but the boys at the top and everybody else in the paddock, you look at them and go, wow, yeah, look what's happening here.
And your wife obviously kick-started this with that birthday gift. How does she feel about it? She can't complain then, presumably.
She can. She can. No, she's really supportive. It's difficult. It was especially difficult when I was in the army and working away a lot, because I'd come back and it'd be motorbike. Right, let's go out for dinner, motorbike. back to the army. But we're working on the balance now. It's started to peak a little bit again now because prepping for the Manx takes so much time and effort. But she's really supportive, really helping where she can. She can't put a motorbike together, but she helps me with forms. I've got ADHD. I'm terrible at writing forms out and filling all these out, but she does all those for me. And she is supportive. She's worried, but she's sat down with me when I've done the studying the course, watching the onboards. She's driven around here with me, seeing the people I'm talking to, and it's given her that confidence as well, because there's so much homework you need to put into it. Somebody spoke to me this morning. It's like an apprenticeship. It's a 2-3 year apprenticeship. That's before you even get here. You can't roll out of bed in March of 2025 and go, I'm going to do the Manx Grand Prix this year. It doesn't work like that. To answer the question about my wife, she is supportive. Not resentful, but she is supportive.
And, we're talking, as I say, you're here doing laps around. Do you know roughly how many laps you've probably done around the TT course so far yet?
Altogether, I'm probably about 40. I've got a little 125 that Sneaky Weasel that are on the island, they do signwriting. He phoned me up. He's a friend of mine from school, and he phoned me up when I was out for the TT and said, Lee, come pick this bike up. I've insured you on it. That was lovely. So he dropped the bike off for me yesterday at Douglas, got off the ferry. It's like being a full factory rider. It's brilliant. But it goes to show what everyone's like on the island. Everyone is really helpful and friendly, and when they know what you're trying to do, I don't tell everybody about it. I'm not like that. But when they do know what you're trying to do, they can't do enough for you everywhere, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, there is that real sense of community and family that people talk about consistently, because everybody wants everybody else to do well, don't they?
Yeah, 100%. It's not like I don't liken it to something like the Formula 1 paddock where on TV it looks like everyone's out to get each other, and it's not like that. It's not like that in the Formula 1 paddock. It's not like that here. Everyone just wants the best for each other. It's genuine, and it does come from a good place. But no, I've done about 35-40 laps. On the game, I dread to think how many I've done.
How useful do you find the TT game? Because we hear again about this a lot, and people genuinely using it for homework.
I don't know. I haven't been round here on a closed road yet, but I do think it's helped a lot. If I could get the lap time that I can get on the game around here, that'd be brilliant. I played as Sean Anderson the other day, and I took him a screenshot once I finished a lap, because we did 139 mile an hour, and he said, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? But no, it is useful. If nothing else, it's not about riding the bike and going, I can do 139 mile an hour lap on a bike. It's not that. It's learning what's coming next, and be able to think and go, okay, Union Mills is coming up next, or Aberdare, where do I need to be for Aberdare, or bottom of Bigara, or no, at the 30-second, how many apexes a 30-second got? And you can go back to that and reset and do it again and do it again and do it again. How I tend to do it is I'll play the game, do a couple of laps just to warm up, because you always make a mess. It's a game, for God's sake, you know what I mean? But I'll have the game on the go. I've got an A4 ring binder with all my own notes in, printed every single corner off on the course, and then I also have an onboard on. There's a couple of onboards. I'm not going to tell you which ones I watch, because that's a closely guarded secret, but I have the onboards on, so if I ever get confused, I'll go, actually, no, where am I? I've got 3 reference points I can go to and go, bang, 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 and then figure it out. If I'm stuck in a section, I'll just keep replaying that section and just go reset. It's a lot quicker doing it that way than coming over here, especially from the mainland, and doing it. And plus, like I say, you can just pause, start again. So I think it does help, especially with learning the course and what's coming next. Actually, what it gives you on the bike, I don't know, because you can't feel what the bike's doing, you can't feel how much grip you've got, but I think it is useful. And
you did mention sort of having ADHD, and I'm just curious to know how that helps or hinders your racing and how you, I don't know, sort of hold on to that concentration maybe sometimes.
With ADHD, if ADHD didn't exist, you would have no grids. You would have no grids in the UK. You'd have no grids on the planet. Because everybody's somewhere on that. Yeah, you have to be. I think you have to be. Yeah, there's going to be the odd weirdo out there that's absolutely normal and fine and can go out and ride a bike like that. But everybody's got something on the spectrum. With me, I'm a different person on the bike. I don't talk as fast as I do. I don't slur as much or whatever. I don't get distracted. Same as when I'm driving. I don't get distracted when I'm driving. I'm not saying that. But I'm a different person. I don't know my own name. I don't know who my wife is. That's not a great thing. But all I can think about is riding that bike, what's coming next and what I'm doing. And it's so freeing. It's so freeing. It's like flying. That's what it feels like.
Wow.
And that's what I get out of it. And I come back and everything's crystal clear. It's like someone just turned the noise off. It's just brilliant.
It's almost like a meditative state for you, almost.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's just a shame it has to be motorcycle racing to get into that. If I could do that playing chess, then that'd be fine.
So is chess a favourite game of yours as well?
I'm a member of the local chess club. I'm not very good at it, granted. If I actually took time to study, I might be all right. I use chess to try and relax the same and get the same feeling that I get of racing a motorcycle.
Not as quickly, perhaps.
Yeah, not as quickly. Yeah, I've tried bullet chess. I'm no good at it, but no, it's something you can focus on and put all your thoughts into, and you've got none of the stress of work or home or money or any other stuff. You sit there, relax, and you're just playing. It's just a nice competitive game, and people are friendly in that as well. Like, you know.
And I suppose the similarity is you're always planning your next move.
Yeah, for sure. You're always thinking 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. But no, it's about having the forethought as well, because you've got, you know, you have a plan of what you're going to do, and then you've got to react to what they're doing. So yeah, I suppose it is very similar to racing a motorcycle in some aspects.
Now, Lee, you've been really honest about the other side of motorcycle racing, which we know it can be very dangerous, and many riders do unfortunately have to go through an incident or two. And you posted about an incident, and I think it's fair to say you were quite overwhelmed by the reaction that you got.
We're talking about a post that went out a couple of 3 years ago now. I'll give you the background and say what we did. I was racing at Mallory Park. It was mixed conditions. I had a wet front tyre on and a dry rear. I could see first place. I was sat in third, and there was a video. Watched the video 1,000 times. The back wheel just stepped out on me for no reason whatsoever. I went down at Gerrard's. The chap behind me, unfortunately, had nowhere to go and run straight over me. He lost 6 inches of top of his left arm, had to have a reverse ball and socket joint put in. I came away with 3 broken vertebrae, 17 ribs, 22 fractures in my ribs. Flail chest, that's when your rib cage is just floating and you get paradoxical breathing, so your ribs go the wrong way. Punctured lung, and my spleen was bleeding. It was all right though, because when I was on the floor they gave me ketamine. Yeah, I don't know how people do it recreationally. No, I never want that stuff again. But that stuff sorts you right out. Yeah, so that was really difficult. The post I put up wasn't about me going, oh, I'm in so much pain and I'm in hospital. It was the realisation, because motorcycle racing is the best sport in the world. Like, I know I'm biased. And I put all my time and effort and thought into it. It is the best sport in the world, but it is dangerous. And I don't think, me personally, I have learned so much out of that about how dangerous it can be, because that was close. It was close. And I know, unfortunately, people do end up much worse. But some people also go through the whole racing careers without going through something like that. And a wake-up call is a wrong word. Like I said, realisation about how much this can go wrong. And then at that point, you have to make a decision. Am I going to continue with this, or am I going to pack it in?
And was that a difficult decision for you?
It was 7 weeks later. I got back on a motorbike after that at a race meeting. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I did. I had to. I had no choice.
You had no choice from a mental point of view. You needed to do it.
It was either that or it was done. And I remember it was back at Mallory Park where it happened. We went back there on the same bike. I had to borrow a set of leathers because all mine were all cut up. They're stapled to the garage wall, those are. Yeah, I went back to Mallory Park, and I remember because it was Gerrard's, I was driving down towards Gerrard's, and every time I just brake way too early, brake way too hard, and I completely make a mess of the corner. People flying past me all over the shop. I can't keep doing this. And in the end, what I had to do is I drove all the way down the straight. When I was before I got to my braking marker, I just closed my eyes, grabbed the front brake, and just threw the bike in. I said, it's got 2 choices: we either go in or we don't. We would come round it, and that was it. We were back on it. I wouldn't say it got me back into it, but that was a deciding factor. Yeah, we're still in on this.
That's an incredible thing to go through, Lee, and I think it is the hardest thing, as I always say, for people who aren't involved in this sport at all, to understand how you can go through what you've been through physically, mentally, emotionally, and what your family obviously went through as well, but actually think, no, I still want to do this.
It's always more difficult for the family, always is. My wife had to have time off work. She couldn't sleep in the bed for 3 weeks, so she was just feeding me oxycodone, strong painkiller, feeding me that, and sleeping on the floor, because every time if she got into bed, I couldn't breathe. It was horrible. So she spent 3 weeks sleeping on the floor, feeding me these painkillers, doing everything for me. I had no work, I had no money coming in. To put people through that's difficult. And justifying it in your own mind is difficult, but they've always got it so much harder. And I couldn't do it without them.
And physically now, you're all okay?
Absolutely fine. There was some temporary nerve damage on my ribs, because where I'd broken them, I damaged all the nerves on my ribs. That took about 2 years to come back. I couldn't hug my wife for about 16 months because it was so painful, and then they came back and we were all tickety-boo. So
it really is a tale of 2 halves, really. So you've had that moment, and then you decide actually MGP is going to be on the horizon. How have you found the whole process with getting ready for MGP? We think about the newcomer weekends and the support you get over here.
It's just incredible. It's incredible. I was over the moon when we came over for the newcomers weekend. I met Johnny Barton, Tony Duncan, and Carolyn Sells. We had laps with all 3 of those. Absolute fountain of knowledge, and can't do enough for you. Here's my number, Lee. If you need anything, just drop us a text. And drop me a text and go, yeah, okay, we can sort this, do this. Tony Duncan's got in touch with Nathan Harrison. He's taking me out for a lap tonight, which is really helpful. You know, he said we can find a few more points and help you out a little bit.
Yeah, that just goes back, doesn't it, to the fact that, you know, Nathan, who did so well at TT, and actually here he is giving back to somebody who's just starting out. So that community, that family feel is definitely there already for you.
They don't get paid to do it. It's a kind gesture. That's all it is. And genuinely, people might think that they turn and do it so they can boast away. It's not. They are so humble. So humble. It's not like you go to a track day and you've got, I can go into this corner at 300 miles an hour. There's none of that. Everyone's just so humble and going, well, this is what I can show you and this is what I look for. You can figure the rest out. So if you can't figure the rest out, you shouldn't be here. So there is a lot of that on you. They don't give you a card and say, this is how you race around here. They go, this is how to do it safely. Go and get it done. So yeah, but the support is fantastic from every angle. It
must be so hard for you at the moment to think about anything else.
I can't. My wife's my wife is absolutely fuming because she's like, Lee, can you shut up about the Isle of Man? You know what I mean? We love the place, but it's been 7 weeks solid now. We come over for the TT, we watch from the bungalow for the Super Twin race. You know, it's just constant. It is constant. If it's not about me running around and sorting the motorbike out, it's we need to book this ferry and sort this out, and this is where we're camping, or what food do we need. So it is endless, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's going to be this first one. You only get one first go. You know what I mean? And we're both so excited for it.
And have you got an aim in mind? Is there something you want to achieve this first time?
How I've put it across when people have asked me is I've got A, B and C goals, and realistic. So the C goal for me is get to the start line of the race. I need to do that. I'll do that by hell or high water. That needs to happen. The B goal is to get to the finish line. People think that, you need to do 130, 135 mile an hour lap. Just getting a motorcycle around here for the race is a feat on its own. You know, let alone doing a lap time. So C goal, get to the start line. B goal, get to the finish line. And A goal, just for me, is just 100 mile an hour lap. That's all I want. A nice, safe 100 mile an hour lap with no scares and no worries. Nice and comfortable. That sets me up nicely for next year.
And who have you got coming with you?
So at the moment, I've got my wife Gemma. She's coming over. Dog Milo. I need the dog. I struggle to sleep at night without him. He sleeps at our feet in the caravan. It's great. Plus, heating's knackered in it, so he keeps us warm. I've got Paul Stead from Z Shed. He's helping me build the bike and everything. He's coming over for the race days for the pit crew. I've got Joe Broomfield, who lives on the island in Ramsey. He's been a fantastic help. He's coming over and doing the fuel for us on the pit stop. He's been fantastic. Every time I come over, he puts me up. You know, I can have his spare room. Drives around, does laps of everything. You know, he does a long day at work and then comes and helps me out. Yeah, and we're still working on people coming over for practice week. That's what I'm short of, because it's so hard to get people to help you out for the full 2 weeks. So we're having a bit of a split pit crew change. So hopefully we can get that first week filled out a little bit, because I think if anything's going to go wrong, it'll be that first week. And especially as a first timer here, you know, I just think there might be things that we haven't quite got right and just need adjusting. So that'll help. Another testament to how good people are over here. John put a different John put a post up on Facebook asking, can I help anybody? Because he'd helped a team out at the TT. And I said, well, I'm a bit short. And he said, yeah, okay, ferry's booked, I'm here, 2 weeks, come and help me out. He's never met me, we spoke on the phone. I asked him maybe makes a cup of tea, and I was happy with that, so he's coming.
How should you make a cup of tea?
Strong. Strong, leave the tea bag in. But he's got some sort of fancy way of doing it. He's got like a proper stovetop kettle and puts 2 tea bags in, a little bit of water, warms that up, and then fills it all the way up. It's weird.
2 tea bags?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm happy with it, though.
Okay. You leave the tea bag in for the whole time?
Oh,
No.
I do, yeah.
Do you?
I rarely have a hot cup of tea.
Okay.
I try to, but I'm always busy. ADHD running around like an headless chicken, Make a cup of tea, forget about it for 3 days.
The other thing, Lee, and again, this is something we talk about a lot, is how you approach people and ask for financial help, for sponsorship. I think it can be really tricky, and the general message seems to be that people feel bad about asking for help for a sport and a passion that can be quite selfish, I guess, and, asking people to support you in that way. How have you found that?
I really struggle with it. I've never really asked for anything in my life, and I'm still haven't been asking now. It's my friends and family that we go in and speaking to their contacts and going, oh, can you help Lee out a little bit? He's struggling a little bit. It's an expensive game. It really is. I don't agree. Lots of people do it, but for me and my wife spoke about it, and fundamentally I don't agree with just giving pages to be able to support someone's racing. If it's, someone's had an accident, or they're in dire straits, or they've had an accident race and they need the help, then that's absolutely fine. But to do a charity page like that to try and help somebody do a, like you mentioned, their hobby or their passion, I don't quite agree with it just yet. Like I said, my friends that have turned and asked people for help, they have come through and helped. But I do struggle with that. I think I'm quite humble in that way. When I speak to people and they go, oh yeah, do you need some help or anything? And I said, well, yeah, I do, but I don't know what you want me to offer, because the usual thing is put a sticker on the bike and do this and do that. But I am always brutally honest with them and say, well, I'm not going to make your business a £5 million business. So I can put you as wide and far as I can, but I'm not going to make you a load of money. I can do what I can, but don't expect anything back out of this. All I'm looking for is people that love the sport and want to help the little guy at the bottom. And that's all it is. I always buy people a beer, get them a few photos or whatever, and get more signed. But being part of it and being part of that family, that's what I want people in on.
And you make them a cup of tea, presumably.
Make them a cup of tea. We'll get John to do that now, easy. And got him on board. But no, that's it. That's what I offer. Being part of the community and keeping people involved. People have come with me, and give me 20 or 30 quid, and I'm on the phone for them for 3 days. I'm talking to them, and this and this and this. And they tell me, Lee, shut up, go away. I'm sick of talking to you now. But I'm so grateful for everybody that has helped out already. We're still a little bit short. And this is me asking, put my Facebook up or whatever later. If people want to get to know me, I'm quite open on there. And there's a message, people can message me privately and chat to me. I'm more than happy to do that. But yeah, it's difficult because I don't make false promises. I don't lie, and I don't make false promises. I'm not going to turn and go, oh yeah, put this everywhere, and it's going to be amazing. You're going to make all this money. Yeah, people that love the sport and want to help the guy at the back, or the little guy, whichever way you want to put it. That's the people that we want on our side.
And presumably you have got some people supporting you already who really do have that belief, as you say, in you and what you're doing.
Yeah, we do. So we've got EasyNet on board. EasyNet are a syndicate of engineers that all work together to provide statutory inspections all over the country, in England and Ireland, that provide statutory examinations. I'm a member of those for my business, and they've all clubbed together and chucked some money towards me to help me out. One of the other members, DAG, so that's Dave and Elaine Green, they're one of the members there. They own an inspection company, and they've come on board on their own to help out as well. Ryan Starkey at Waymax, he's one of my clients actually, and he loves MotoGP and motorsport. He's actually offered to come over and help out as well, which is fantastic. So he's helped me financially, and he's offering his own labour as well, which is awesome. Tommy and the whole team at Shyboat Motorcycles, I can't thank them enough for what they've helped me with. They've been helping me rebuild engines 2 days before a race meeting. I don't usually work like that, but we've had a couple of spanners thrown in the works. Come down, use the ramps, here's a dyno, do as much as you want, and that's amazing. Polishing shop, I've had loads of supplies off him over the years, and Andy there, fantastic guy, going, always makes me a cup of tea, and he's jumped on board and said he would help out this year, which he has done. Killer 5 is a high-end interior design company, so another one of my friends' businesses, there's a recurring theme here, isn't there? They've come on board. He's helping me with the design of the bike, doing all the decals for me as well, and he's actually part of my pit crew as well. John Simmons is. That's going to be an experience for him because he's never done that before. Moto Central shop in Leicester, they've helped me out supplying me helmet, boots, etc. I should probably mention my own business as well, Stag Engineering. They've helped out quite a lot. Hell Performance, they supply me brake lines and all sorts of other stuff, which is brilliant. And Z Shed, my mate Paul, he's been with me through thick and thin through the start. He's helped me build every single race bike. We've been out till 2 o'clock in the morning building the bike in the shed. He's currently actually working on my bike now while I'm over here having a jolly doing laps. He's been absolutely flat out on the bike for the last 7 weeks, so I can't thank him enough. Him and Shell, I couldn't do it without him, so thank you.
Just thinking then what the next 6 weeks or so are going to look like for you, Lee. I mean, it's going to be absolutely crammed full. I'm just wondering, is there any piece of advice that you've been given so far ahead of your first time on that start line on Glencrutchery Road that really stands out? I
went to the NEC bike show about 5-6 years ago, and Peter Hitman was talking through his onboard lap there, and I stood down and watched it. I was fascinated. I managed to grab him at one side after it and asked him, Peter, well, what's one piece of advice you give someone that wants to race this? He said, knowledge. He said, you can have the fastest bike in the world, but if you don't have the knowledge, you've got no chance. I mean, that stuck with me. That's stuck with me ever since, and I think about that all the time. This is why I study so hard on the course, study so hard on the game, read as much material as I can, talk to as many people as I can. One of the pieces of advice that's got me here where I am now.
Oh, well, Lee, we cannot wait to see how it goes for you this year. Where can people keep up to date with how you're doing?
So I've just got a Facebook page. I'm not very good with the whole technology and TikTok and all that. My wife keeps saying I should do a TikTok, but I can't. But now, Facebook page, Lee Stanaway Racing. There's a message button on there as well. So if anyone wants to get in touch, you can do. I'm quite proactive with the updates. Best I can do in between racing and working. But that's the one to get me on.
Wonderful. We'll put the link to that on the podcast page. And I should say, we had one of the people here at Manx Radio make you a cup of tea. I wish I'd known what a tea aficionado you were before that. Would you rate that cup of tea?
He's took the tea bag out, so it's all right. It's an 8 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10.
I'll go and grab it out of the bin for you. Lee, thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers, Beth.
Lee Stanaway, who clearly is very keen on a cup of tea, and I did feel a little bit under pressure actually. I wish I had known that before. But anyway, we wish Lee all the very best. It's going to be such a busy time running up to MGP, but we'll keep you up to date with how his first time here goes. The link to his Facebook page is also on the podcast page as well. So if you can help out in any way, he really would appreciate it very much. And there will be a cup of tea in it for you. The Journey to a Dream podcast is brought to you by Kawasaki Insurance, and you can find out more about them by visiting their website. It's kawasaki-insurance.co.uk. And if you'd like to be part of the podcast in future, I'd love to hear from you. BethSB@manxradio.com is the best email address. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.